Hey guys, so excited for this Sunday night as we are getting into our summer series. First off, if you came to Color Wars this past Sunday night, man, thank you for being there. I know for me, I felt like I was cleaning color powder out of my ears. Like I'm still Q-tipping green out of my left ear. It's absurd. But thank you for all of your help with that incredible event. It was a huge success. We didn't have a huge crowd, but we had 13 first-time guests, which is the most that I've ever seen at one of our events ever. So thank you for connecting with those kids. Be sure to reach out to them if you have their contact information, or if you know the friend that brought them, reach out to that friend. If you want any of their contact info, please let me know. I'm happy to pass that along to you. So that's the important part, is reaching out to those students, because this past Sunday could have been the start of their spiritual journey. So that's what I hold on to. This week, we are starting our new series. We're going to be talking through this thing called perspectives. This is actually something that I learned about from Amanda Huang, who graduated last year, if you know her. That is Anna's older sister. Amanda's off at MIT and is a part of Crew, and they have this, they call it a card game, and that's generous. But it's this thing called perspective, and we are just ripping it off, because that's what youth pastors do. They steal ideas from other people and then just kind of repackage it. Anyway, this game has these different conversation topics, these 5 different conversation topics, and they are deep. It's stuff like, what is the nature of God? What is the nature of mankind? Where do you find spiritual truth? That sort of thing. And the goal of the game is you sit down with your conversation partner and you say, hey, I would like to hear your perspective on some pretty deep things. And then you lay out the different options. And for the nature of God, you lay out like 5 or 6 cards that say different philosophies or different ways that people look at this thing. And you ask them, which one do you find yourself agreeing with? Monotheism, polytheism, agnosticism, that sort of stuff. And it's all laid out. And then the person points at one and you start asking them questions. Why? Blah, blah, blah. Then you go through all of these. Afterwards, you ask your conversation partner, you say, do you want to hear my perspective on some of these things? And the person could say no. And that's the end of the conversation. And that's it. They could say yes. And then you, as the Christian with these cards, you flip over the ones that are more aligned with the Christian perspective. And then you tell them what your perspective on life is. It's this like alpha-esque way of evangelizing. I think it's really, really incredible. It's something that they even have an app for it, so that's free, and they have the cards. And so at the end of this series, we're going to be buying some of those cards. We're going to be pushing the app to our students and kind of encouraging them to evangelize in this way. But we want to lay that groundwork first. So what we're going to do over the next 5 weeks is we're going to hit each of these conversation topics, and we're going to just focus on what the Christian perspective is on this thing, for 2 reasons. One, I think it's going to be hugely edifying. I think it's going to be something that's going to be good for all of us to think about and really process through and be like, this is what it is. And second, then our students can go out into these conversations and not have any worry in their heart of like, oh no, am I going to be de-evangelized? Am I going to have this conversation with a friend and they're actually going to win me over? Like, no, because they've processed through this to some degree. That's the hope for this. So this week, we're starting in with what is the nature of God? And we're really keying in on a couple of key aspects of him. First off, that God is singular. There's only one. We're a monotheistic belief system. Second, that God is the creator of everything. He's not only the creator of everything, but he's involved with his creation. He didn't build all of this and put it off in a bookshelf to hide away and just collect dust. Instead, he stepped into it as Jesus. And then we're also going to get into the idea that God is triune, meaning he's a trinity, he's 3 and 1, which means that he loves relationship, and that's why he created us, to be in relationship with him. This is kind of what we're going to focus in on, and we're going to be approaching it in the way of, if we can understand the nature of God, this actually is the foundation and the bedrock for everything that we consider and believe about life, about spirituality, about ourselves. This is the starting point. Is God out there? Who is he? What's he like? And if we can start to process through those, everything else can be built on that foundation. So that's what we're going to be getting into this Sunday. I hope that you'll join us. We're going to be starting just like we did last summer, since we see our student ministry attendance drop through the summer and it's just really sporadic depending on who's in town and who's out of town. We're going to have our groups kind of mixing together a little bit here and there, playing that by ear. We're also going to be outside around the fire pit, and I have something really exciting about the fire pit. 2 people who may or may not want to be named, so I'm not going to name them just yet, have so generously donated. They are donating a propane-fed ring that goes in our fire pit. And there's also a cage that will go over our fire pit. So it is actually going to have all of the benefits of a fire that looks pretty. We can roast s'mores over it, and it's not going to be blazingly hot, and it's not going to be incredibly smoky. So we'll be able to have student ministry out around the fire pit with none of the downsides that we had last year, because coming home and smelling like a campfire every Sunday night wasn't my personal favorite. So join us this week, guys. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for all the ways that you are pouring into your students and caring about them week in and week out. And the last thing that I want to make sure that I mention is, if you have not picked a time on my calendar for us to meet up, please do that as soon as you can. I'd love to chat with you and just see how ministry is going, how are you doing, and what your plans are for this next year. So guys, love getting to serve with you. I cannot wait to serve with you again this Sunday night.